Hi there, welcome to this video. Welcome to anyone watching in general, but more specifically speaking, welcome Matt. Hi Matt. Hopefully you're watching this video, and hopefully when you do have the time, that's if you do, you're able to watch this video from start up until the end, and then hopefully it will make more sense at the end. So at least up to now, or up to earlier tonight, we've had a problem. Is that correct? The problem being one of two things. One, me, Warlike Wrath, supposedly failing to recognise, acknowledge Matt Lingo's super chat as of dating back 4th of September during a live stream at night time, when I was doing one of those whip event videos, okay? The second problem supposedly being Matt Lingo feeling like he's being labelled as like a distraction when it comes to his presence in live chats. That a reference made in recent time to the likes of Wes Stump, comparing Matt Lingo to Wes, that there was a misunderstanding there as well, and Matt Lingo took it in a negative light. Well, most of that will be addressed tonight, right here, right now. Apologies in advance if I do talk slow. That's just because I wasn't anticipating to be making this video on the spot, because I was completely unaware of all this going on in the background. It only was brought to light tonight, so I thought I'd do the video right here, right now, just whilst my memory is fresh, do it on the spot, get out of one's system, explain it, okay? As well, apologies in advance if my voice, my tone is a little, I don't know, different. That's just because sudden shift from being inside to coming out here with the temperatures being colder than usual. Body is just trying to adjust to that, okay? So I'm going to try and explain everything possible so then the record is set straight and everyone understands, including the background people who may have come along in recent times so they know the story, but more importantly so Matt Lingo himself understands. So I'm trying to use language which is aimed towards Matt Lingo himself, hi Matt, but also the general public, you know, people who watch these videos to understand the context behind it. So I've got to switch and change between language and wording. Hopefully you understand that, Matt. So first and foremost, when it comes to your super chats, Matt, at whatever point, whatever time, more specifically speaking, your last one, the 4th of September 2023, during that live stream, that supposedly I failed to acknowledge that super chat. Well, one key thing to respond to right here, right now, is it was very good of you to send that super chat at that time, a 99¢, if I'm correct in currency, super chat. So that was good of you. I appreciate that. But not just that, all your previous super chats, I don't know how many in total, but when you have given a super chat down to personal choice and it being a natural decision, I appreciate that. That's good of you. But in addition, I also appreciate and acknowledge all the other people over time. Most definitely tonight. Just as a heads up, shout out to Maria, of course, for her super chats, as well as Badger Life too. Very good of them. And also happy birthday to Maria. Well, happy birthday. Yeah, okay. So yeah, to refer back to the missed out super chat on the night of the 4th of September, at least in terms of my awareness of it, the way you mentioned it, Matt, in the chat earlier tonight, that I completely blinded it. I didn't acknowledge it at all. I completely ignored it. That when Miss T repeatedly told me about it 6 times, I think you worded it as, but I didn't believe in it, I didn't see it properly. Well, this is my response to that, okay? Upon looking back at the video, the whipping one, which at first, when you were referring to it, you were briefly referring to the wrong one, because you said that I ignored your super chat in the video about you. The video about you, there was no super chats given at all in the live chat at the time, though there was a super chat by Iceberg, 58 Iceberg, in the comment section afterwards. That was acknowledged the following day and appreciated for Iceberg and their presence, okay? So you did get that wrong, Matt, but I could see that you corrected yourself later on in the chat tonight by saying it was the whipping one, the live stream, which is different to a live video premiere, of course. Now, that live stream occurred on the 4th of September 2023 when I was in the shack doing the whippings, which, to explain it to, general people watching right now, was a super chat equals a certain number of times I get whipped, or maybe somebody else, okay? And I made the joke in recent time that if anyone gave a 99p or a 99-cent super chat, it's like a loophole in which one would have to get whipped 99 times. It was a bit of a joke, a play on words, and a few people participated in it, like Arkansas, Guidance, and obviously Matt Lingo. And with time, I did acknowledge them, just like I did with Matt Lingo super chats in the past. But it appears to be on that one night out of all the other times I supposedly failed to acknowledge Matt's super chat. So the way I'm seeing things from my point of view is that I need to be perfect at all times in anything and everything that I do. That if I make that one mistake, that one time I fail to do something, supposedly speaking, I'm crucified for it, and there is some form of outburst in an unnecessary way, okay? Is it fair? I don't think it is, to be fair, okay? But at least from my memory, my recollection of that night, the 4th of September 2023, I did not see your super chat, Matt, at the time, but then upon Miss T telling me above hers, I did eventually see it. Now, in my head, I would have said thank you, and I do feel somewhat confident that I did acknowledge it in some way or another, whether it be verbally in some way, but one thing for certain, most definitely, in terms of physical action, I did acknowledge your super chat. And how did one acknowledge it? By whipping myself 99 times, as described in the brief of the video and the title of it. Super chat equals a number of times one whips themselves, okay? So I whipped myself 99 times in acknowledgement of your super chat. Maybe, just maybe, I didn't verbally say it clearly, but in terms of action, I did acknowledge it, okay? And what you need to understand, from my point of view, visually speaking, Matt, when it comes to doing a live stream, it's significantly different to a live video premiere, okay? When I do a live video premiere, that's on my computer. The display, the format, it's very clear. The chat is on the right-hand side of the screen, and it's easy to follow, and it's not too fast, okay? When I'm doing a live stream, the chat is on the screen of when I'm recording myself, okay? So how you see me right now in this video, if it was a live stream, the live chat would be the bottom left-hand side of the screen in the corner, and it's a disappearing chat, okay? The chat only visibly shows when people are engaging with comments. When people stop for a little bit, the chat disappears. So then I have to tap the screen constantly to make it show up. And then I've got to scroll all the way up to try and find that one comment, because the actual chat box on mobile for me during a live stream is that size, okay? A live premiere on my PC is like that size. So there is a clear size difference. One's constantly visible, the other one disappears. So I am bound to miss out on certain comments or questions. Yet when I have done that and I've made that mistake, which to an extent out of one's control, other people didn't get up in arms about it. But I guess when it comes to monetary reasons, I can understand why you, Matt, feel, could be interpreted as a bit disrespectful, It seems a bit poor taste. But at the time, it was hard to track everything visually on my screen, because in the process of comments, in the odd super chat, I've got to whip myself to acknowledge the other ones. So there is a backlog. And if there's a backlog, there may be a delay in acknowledgement to a super chat, okay? But when Miss T did tell me a few times, I eventually scrolled up, I did see it, and then I whipped myself 99 times to acknowledge your super chat. Hopefully that's clear and understandable, okay? If we do need to refer back to any additional points later on in this video, I will do so, okay? So I'd say that's it for that. In terms of the second issue, maybe more of a bigger picture, a deeper meaning behind it, okay? That you feel that whether it be me or others see you as a form of disruption, a negative force, that people see you in a negative light, that recent comments by me when it comes to my observations of the live premiere chat during my videos are supposedly better off when there's distractions not present, which includes you. That's how you worded it, Matt Lingo. You assumed that it was directly aimed at you. I think one key thing to acknowledge for most part of it, the language that I used was very vague, and it was in general. It wasn't directly applied to anyone specifically speaking in areas. Then, I think one fair point, one fair acknowledgement then, I've made a few references to Kathy Waters, obviously Fast Eddie at times in terms of their behaviour, okay? And maybe that can be explained later on. But let's just focus on Matt Lingo at this moment in time. Hopefully, Matt, you're still listening along and understand up to this point, okay? So let's break it down. How do I visualize you when it comes to, in general, your presence in chat? Well, to begin with, I sense that you're not here for the Dylan Rounds case, but moreover, you're here to have a good time or just to hang out with other people, to have a bit of fun. Is there anything wrong with that? No, I wouldn't say so, because I have clearly acknowledged in my previous videos, more so one of my more recent ones, that it's good to have lightheartedness at times of darkness when covering a serious topic. If you stay too serious for too long, it can get a little bit dull, right? So if it can be balanced out with a bit of lightheartedness, messing about, that's all good. I mean, my videos demonstrate that in the past when it's come to certain, splits where I've covered the Dylan Rounds case, and then later on I said, now we're transitioning onto something else, a bit more creative, a bit more different, outside of the box, to break stuff up, to refresh people's memories, to help people get away from conflict and tension, which has obviously been seen elsewhere in war-torn communities. That's why it's different here, okay? So times when you have been present and you have been messing, joking about, clearly the way I've responded at times has been positive, saying ha ha ha, lol, because that's what I've responded with. Same applies to Dale, same applies to Maria, same applies to Wes Stump, etc. But equally, and hopefully people understand, that at times there is a level of seriousness and focus required, okay? Because I am putting effort into making videos. I'm trying to keep a missing person case alive, okay, which is quite important in itself. I want to be able to present information to you, or my angle perspective of it, or the different points of views in general from other people. I want to be able to debunk stuff, set the record straight, clear, analyze, compare, contrast key findings, and I want to be able to present that to the people watching. And I want as many people to be able to watch, listen, and understand it, right? Because if no one listens, if no one understands, then is there any point in me doing what I do, right? There's a level of seriousness there, but it can be complemented with the positive, light-hearted casualness of people's behaviours and attitudes. And to an extent, Matt Lingo, you demonstrate that. At times you can complement the chat, you can enhance it at times. But equally, there is a fair observation to be made that sometimes, maybe a little bit of focus at certain points, right? But I also understand that if the case isn't of interest to you, then there's no need for you to listen. But just to highlight one thing, an acknowledgement, there have been times in the past, and I have mentioned it in previous videos, that where you have simmered down slightly, but you did so out of respect. And I acknowledged that. I highlighted that in future videos. Very clear. Okay? That's a fact. I highlighted and acknowledged it, right? You yourself, you do what you do based on your personality and your choices. All natural, I get that. If at points it could deeply impact the chat, the viewing experience, that is a problem, right? But does it all link back to you as being the problem? No, because you're not the only person who could be considered and seen as not following the case or focusing at times. There's been other people, as I've clearly highlighted. I've made references to Dale. He seemed to have a decent sense of humour about it, at least at the time. I've even mentioned Maria's name. I've mentioned Wes Stump's name and a few other people. Sometimes pissing about, which, at times is funny and good, but then sometimes there is a serious, important finding, key observation. It's like, do you want to listen or, maybe take it in because it could be of use, could be beneficial to your understanding of a case, right? So it doesn't just revolve around you, Matt, okay? It does apply to other people. But apologies about the flow if it does stop at times. I'm just trying to process everything on the spot because this is, all of a sudden, video made on the spot. But in terms of you, Matt Lingo, right, when it's come to the chat, that when it has come to highlighting that there could be a possible problem, right, how it can impact other people in the chat and their viewing experience. I was talking in general. I wasn't specifically referring to you at the time, okay? And I was saying in general, towards the people out there that watch these videos, solutions to avoid viewing experiences being disrupted, such as blocking people who may cause you problems, or by going in full screen mode of my video. So it fills out the screen and then the chat disappears. And I think you might even have the option to hide the chat, so then you don't have to see it ever again. So I was highlighting the positives and negatives of, loose, casual behaviour and attitudes in the chat. And then I was also highlighting in general at the time how certain methods and approaches can be taken to avoid negative experiences or experiences in general being impacted in some way or another. If people want to watch along, that's great. If people just want to casually join on in and mess about, that's okay. But if it gets too out of hand during a very serious video, there just needs to be just a slight level of respect, because time and effort has been put into making videos on a serious topic, sometimes a life or death situation depending, okay, on people out there. It's like, if that can at least be acknowledged, then the understanding of just being loose and casual at times to complement the dark moments can also be acknowledged as well. It's like a 50-50 give and take situation. Hopefully you understand that, Matt Lingo, okay? Now, to apply it to the Wes Stump situation, where maybe you interpreted it as I was comparing him, a supposed disruptive individual, as to you yourself. Maybe you feel like you're being singled out in some way or another. Well, as I said, once again, I mentioned numerous names as examples previously. As I said, it doesn't revolve all around you, Matt Lingo, okay? So, you can watch the video back if you wish to, whichever one it was. I'm just going to try and briefly explain what I was referring to. It's not from my point of view. I'm saying it for how it is, okay? Based off the point of views of other people. Take in mind, Matt Lingo, there have been several people over time that have severely misunderstood my language, wording, that I myself, not all the time are the things coming out of my mouth, my opinions, but other people around, okay? Because I observe it all, I see it, I visualize it, I may hear it at times, and then I put it into perspective and share it here in my videos. That is why I demonstrate balance, because it isn't all my opinion, it's other people out there. But I think humans over time have misunderstood that. Just like you, Matt Lingo, it's a moment in time. I'm going to try and clear it up on the spot. So hopefully you can take it in, okay? So basically what I was saying was how regular viewers, okay? Let's be realistic. Viewers in my chat who you may feel have called you out in a negative way or something. Does that apply to Christy? Does it apply to Maria? Does it apply to Badger Life? Whoever, okay? And I was just basically saying in that past video, okay, that those people, regular viewers on my channel, may acknowledge and get on well with Wes Stump, another individual out there who's on my channel. But basically what I was saying was, when it comes to Wes Stump, another viewer, a person who could be considered by some as a little bit disruptive, not all about the Dylan Rounds case, but more about hanging out with friends or supposed friends and having a good time, messing about, light-hearted behaviour, okay? That's understandable, right? But as I was saying, in the past, and more so in recent time, that's all good, but at times there still needs to be a slight level of focus just to acknowledge what is going on. A serious topic, a serious piece of breaking news, etc. Hopefully you understand that. So Wes Stump in the past, a little bit disruptive, okay? Bit too casual at times. That may be just him, his personality. That's fine, I understand. But still, I was just simply highlighting and putting things into perspective. Arguably defending you, Matt Lingo, and I think you've severely misunderstood this, which is most disappointing, okay? My disappointment is beyond immeasurable at this moment in time, but I'm going to continue to explain things, okay? So there's people in my chat, regular viewers, that defend Wes Stump, yet have called you out, Matt. Viewers on my channel have called you out in some way or another, maybe as being a bit disruptive, okay? Not focusing, not staying true to the case. That's what some of the people on my channel have said. That's just their opinion, okay? That wasn't coming from my mouth. Hopefully you understand that. And the comparison, or at least the point of what I was getting across at, is that if some people on my channel are quick to call Matt Lingo out for being disruptive, then why are they perfectly okay and stand up for Wes Stump, who in a way has been a little bit loose and casual in behaviour and messing about in the past when he's been present? So I was basically saying, if you're going to defend Wes Stump and, you know, praise him in a positive light, then you should with Matt Lingo as well. And if not, if you're going to call one person out, then you call the other person out. It seemed a bit one-sided, a little bit biased, right? So realistically, factually speaking, I was actually defending you, Matt Lingo, because at the time I was wondering, wait, why is Matt Lingo being called out, in a really negative way, when there's been people in the past who may have done similar things, but they get a free pass? Why? You know what I'm saying? That's all I was saying, right? If you're going to allow one thing, then you should allow the other to maintain that balance so it's not too biased. So that's what I was getting at. I think, Matt Lingo, you've severely misunderstood that point. And, you can dispute it all you like till the cows come home, but that's exactly what I've worded then was exactly what I was wording in that previous video. If you need proof or you need to look back at it, then look back at that previous video. At this moment in time, I can only really explain it once, because by repeating it, I don't think it will do much good. You can look back at previous videos if you wish to, okay? So, is that it for all the issues and grievances? Hopefully I've addressed most of it. Even if one has to summarize right now, I will do so, okay? So, as for your latest and last super chat on my channel, Matt Lingo, that 99-cent one, it was good of you to do that. I acknowledge it. I appreciate that, as well as your previous ones before that too. If you felt that I ignored it, your super chat, the 4th of September 2023, well, that's most unfortunate. But in terms of physical action, I most definitely did acknowledge it, okay? Hopefully you understand the implications as well, visually speaking, when it comes to the what do you call it, the HUD, H-U-D, the user display for me when I'm doing these live streams on mobile device. It's limited compared to how it is on PC during a live premiere in terms of visibility of chat. But the chat does move quicker in a live stream than it does in a live premiere, okay? So hopefully that clears that up. And as for you feeling maybe singled out or feeling maybe a bit more of an outcast, more so in recent time because of people's opinions towards you and more so me, well, at least from my perspective, as I said, you have severely misunderstood what I've said previously, okay? So hopefully that clears that all up. Just a few little things to acknowledge, okay, Matt Lingo, before you do go. Hopefully you can stick around to hear this as well. During your absence in recent time, for whatever reason, you explained partially because of how you feel you've been treated recently, which we've already addressed now, but other background stuff going on, which I'm not aware of, whatever the event or occasion, of course I'm not going to be aware of because I don't follow your life. Hopefully you understand that, because I am on YouTube and I'm covering missing people cases for over a year. So I'm not going to be researching into people's backgrounds or what's currently going on here and there in the world. So I'm not going to know everything about everyone out there. Hopefully you understand that, okay? But during your absence of however long it has been, I have sensed that, I've seen that, I've seen when you're visibly not present. So it shows that you do have a presence and a role within this channel community, if you want to call it that. But during your absence, specifically speaking, there has been a default profile, whoever that is, by the name of Sarah, with an orange profile picture, who was blocked because they were being disruptive, but then came back under a different profile called Jody. Same exact person, okay? At the time of your absence, they were speaking on your behalf, speaking quite negatively, demanding for me to apologise, which at the time I had no clue what was going on. But of course, after tonight, I'm fully aware of what's happened, of course. But I don't know who that profile is. I don't know if you're even aware of that account, whether you know who's behind it or not. They appeared during your absence and, they seem to be maybe a troublemaker, jumping on in. Had a contributor to the case. Well, I've never seen them before, as for the channel. It could be someone I've heard of before, but under a different account. Who knows? But yeah, I just wanted to know if you were aware of that Jody account, once known as Sarah, okay? Just out of interest. Anything else to highlight? Yeah, referring back to certain named individuals that I did refer to as being disruptive, okay? I'm not going to dilly-dally beat around the bush about it, okay? So Kathy Waters is a prime example, okay? This could set off more issues, but I'm just going to explain it once and only once. If people listen, great. If others don't, that's not my problem. So basically, Kathy Waters, we know where she came from. Salty Pancakes community. Once a hardline supporter, almost till the end. During her time supporting Salty Pancakes, as we know, Salty Pancakes has caused a form of disruption and unnecessary behaviour at times within the Dylan Brown's case, the community and people involved. Some getting harmed, some getting attacked, and unnecessary BS and harassment going on in the background, okay? Kathy Waters in recent time, who's broken away from that group, who now types in low, no capital letters, lowercase, said to me in regards to something else that, roughly in her words, that I think that people that join this case, some of them do it to cause disruption. And another one mentioned by Kathy Waters was, I think we all know who's behind this supposed reporting and copyright claims, such as Pancakes out there. Now, I'll be honest with you, when I did hear that, it was somewhat hypocritical, and people can get as resistant as they want to me. They can throw the toys out the pram, they can insult me, they can go to other channels and speak bad about me and start causing misinformation and false allegations and slander. I'm just explaining it how it is, because I have seen Kathy Waters' behaviour in the past. For Kathy Waters to say, I think there are people out there that cause harm and disruption to the case, is a bit rich coming from her, considering in the past she once supported a channel and followed them, Salty Pancakes, who was one of the main disruptors in the Dylan Brown's case. So it's a bit rich, and she didn't even acknowledge that. And as well, more personally, Kathy Waters in the past used to come into my live chats, my live premieres, Matt Lingo, type in capital letters, spam a lot of messages, maybe swear words here and there, insults, having a go at me, calling me out, being pretty argumentative. The likes of Weedle B and some other people out there defended Kathy Waters, such as Fast Eddie as well, the little pact and coven at the time, saying, oh, Kathy Waters, she's a nice individual, she's got a bit of a fiery temper, but she's all good. Now, in my mindset at the time, I'm not going to be aware of all that, right? Because all I ever see from Kathy Waters, or have done at the time, was an argumentative person that seemed to have an issue with me, and those that covered the case from a different angle besides Salty Pancakes, okay? So there was levels of disruption in the chat at the time, a lot of insults, unnecessary behaviour from her. It kind of took it away from the viewing experience, and other people highlighted it at the time. There are witnesses present. The one thing that I find kind of baffling is the fact that ever since, Kathy Waters has broken away from Pancakes community, how she's come back here, it's like a calm persona, like nothing ever happened, almost like memory loss, right? Okay, Kathy Waters, maybe Betty Hayward, Kathy Waters, maybe Guidance, Kathy Waters and some other people in the background apologised here and there. Oh, I'm sorry, oh, I'm sorry. Whatever that was, obviously I don't follow all the past drama and conflict to understand. But, people made up in the background and apologised, all done, all fine. And yet not a single human that caused disruption to me or my channel or my coverage on the case, not once did anyone come forth and apologise, which I find a bit strange. And for people to come on in now who were once disruptors and came from other communities and charged in like a raid, to now speak as if they're some kind of psychologist sitting back in a seat saying, well, I think we have an issue here with some of those people out there. Yeah, we might have an issue with some people out there, but you were once the issue in the past. And of course, people do change. Yeah. But I always am cautious of people's backgrounds, okay? Because if it's happened once, it could happen again. That's just me being cautious. But I'm just more interested as to the fact how people can do what they do in the past and then just casually walk on in like nothing ever happened. I do find that kind of rich from certain people's behaviours, okay? Now, I do sense that this will be a revolving door. I do sense that I will get resistance, not from you, Matt Lingo. I have a form of hope and respect within you that you will understand most of this. Maybe not the latter part of this video, but the stuff addressing you. And if so, that's all good, okay? But as for the other stuff mentioned, there might be background people, okay? Whether it be followers, friends, well, online friends, present, whether it be tied to you, Matt Lingo, people that support and defend you, or more so, those further afar who you are not aware of. I sense that there might be resistance. There might be trouble, okay? There's not much I can do about that. I'm just simply explaining it in this formal video to set the record straight before things blow out of proportion, okay? I do genuinely sense that there are troublemakers present. Not you, Matt Lingo, but troublemakers. More serious than casual disruptors. Taking my Matt Lingo, there was once a time I did a video, maybe a month ago, where I did a hierarchy list of levels of disruption. What's considered bad, negative, and what's considered neutral. The neutral stuff was the lightheartedness, okay? Still a level of disruption, but lightheartedness, casual, lower tier, not as bad. So just take that in mind, refer back to that video if you wish to. But in terms of actual troublemakers, other people out there, I do sense that there are some present right now on my channel and maybe in the future, okay? Not much I can do about it. Whatever they do next, they do based off what they feel they need to do, right? So if I do need to defend myself at times, that's what I will do, okay? But one thing I do want to acknowledge, besides my disappointment within you, Matt Lingo, it's the way you've reacted, which is disappointing, okay? Your reaction, your, 1 week, 2 week strike of not being present in a video, chat or comment section, the way you responded tonight, it was all blown out of proportion. I think your reaction was most definitely, to an extent, unnecessary. Things could have been addressed, cleared up, explained earlier on in a more formal way, so we didn't have to get to this point, okay? I do sense in general, though, that there are a lot of humans out there in the Dylan Rounds case true crime community, besides you, Matt Lingo, that probably do get triggered very easily and get easily offended, which in a way I'm kind of surprised by, okay? Because I'm just simply covering a case, okay? That's what most of my videos are, and yet they still seem to set people off. Unfortunate. But as I've always said, misunderstandings of wording, language can lead to tension, and tension can lead to conflict, and then it can blow out of proportion. And kind of like that's what's happened once again here. As I said, there's only so much I can do. I can say what I say and word it appropriately, and people will still fail to understand me. There is really not much more I can do about it. I can do the odd explanation to clear things up, like a debrief, as we're doing right now. Hopefully this is of some use and value to you, Matt Lingo, and maybe other people in the background watching, okay? But, you know, I do think that you overreacted, Matt, at the time. And I think if you left a comment about it, the issue, in a previous video, then it could have been explained earlier. Because things boil on over. When does one reveal their true thoughts? Too soon, too late. And then, I don't know, it's a bit more tense, the situation. Now, you yourself, Matt Lingo, said something about a truce or whatever. Really, there doesn't need to be a truce, nor does there need to be apologies, because I'm just simply saying it for how it is. I'm basically expressing the reality of things based off actual facts and video evidence. So if people want to look back at it, feel free to do so. If others out there say, oh, I can't be bothered or I don't have the time, well, then, once again, there's not much more I can do about it. I'm just basically explaining and summarising what's happened, right? You know, this video is done late at night. That's down to personal choice. of course. The fact that I am covering a serious case on top of thinking of other creative videos to do on YouTube whilst balancing out the channel and also acknowledging other people's presence and stuff, it is a bit of a balancing, juggling act, okay? Just to reiterate, okay? You know, people that watch the videos, they watch the videos, right? Obviously, they've got other stuff going on in the background, responsibilities. I understand that sometimes high, stressful situations and environments can have behavioural shifts on people, on humans. And I think we've seen that with time with those in general in the true crime community and case. It is what it is. But at least from what I do, okay, what do I do? Well, I'm a YouTuber, first of all, and I create videos upon my channel, a range of different stuff. But there's more depth behind it because I'm the one that does research into making my videos, okay? I'm doing the research for most part of it, and at times reaching out to some, or some reaching out to me, and then expanding from there. So there's a bit of work going on in the background, first of all. I don't have a research team, it's all me, okay? Now, when it comes to recording the video, I'm the only one present recording. There's no one recording for me, there's no one else holding a camera. I'm doing all of that, as well as narrating, talking. There is no script, this is all on the spot, like how it is right here, right now, and like how it has been for most part of all my other videos. At times, granted, a few bullet points, okay, just as like pointers and prompts, and that is all. The editing aspect, the music, the overlays at times with some videos, all of that edited by me. So I've recorded all the videos, I've researched for the videos, and I've also edited and pieced it all together. When it's come to uploading the video, the hashtags, the tags, the keywords, the user title, that's all been created by me. How it's been distributed and uploaded, all by me, on Twitter, on YouTube, on TikTok, etc. Multiple accounts run by me, all edited and recorded by me, research by me, everything done by me, okay? There's a lot going on every day for an entire year straight, okay? So to make the odd slip up here and there, it's inevitable. How others respond to it is their choice, but I think at times, we need to give a little bit of slack, you know, a little bit of leniency to understand, because you don't see me, you know, overreacting or blowing things out of proportion when it comes to the smallest or slightest of things, you know? It's not like, this is just a rough example, okay? It's like if someone gave a super chat of £10 or $10 and then another person gave a 99 cent donation. I'm not going to flip out and say, oh, 99 and that person sent 10. Well, why can't you match it then? Why are you going so low? That's cheap. Never once said that. Anything given by any human out there is appreciated and acknowledged in some way or another, okay? For those that have continuously contributed in some way, that has been most definitely acknowledged, okay? Because it's been very good of them. As said, it's all down to choice. People choose to watch these videos. People choose to communicate in the chat or leave a comment down below. And people choose to support in general in some way or another, whether it be super chats, channel membership, or simply revealing information about the case in some way or another. That's also acknowledged and appreciated as well. It comes in different formats. So referring back to me, you know, researching, recording, editing, publishing, and as well creating thumbnails for the videos, I am a one-man army. Mistakes will be made at times, but not that many compared to other people out there. Am I in a situation where one has to bend over backwards and apologise? No. There are times though where people demand an apology, and that's just because they want a power dynamic shift in how the parallels are working with one another. They don't like the disproportion of power that they lack, whilst others have more. So it's just one of those dynamics of power, right? One of those things in the background which is fueled by, as some would label as ego and others would label as some kind of human competitiveness. Whatever is going on there, whatever, and all the other stuff in the background. You may know Matt Lingo more so in recent time. I'm arguably a little bit more blinded or a little bit more clueless as to all the background miniature conflict and drama that goes on in general, That's just because I've been more focused on the Dylan Brown's case, or at least focused on other ones like the Christine Passay Parker case, missing woman out there, okay? So I've been doing other stuff in between, as well as researching other stuff just to, perform or to increase engagement, so then more people are aware of cases, etc., and other serious topics, okay? So, hopefully, humans understand this, and more specifically, Matt Lingo, I hope you understand this video. Ultimately, there is nothing more left to say. In your position, at this moment, at this time, you do what you think is best. You do what you need to do. Nothing more, nothing less. That's it. I'm going to leave it there. As the next video follows, whenever that may be, it will be, I guess, to do with Dylan Rounds, etc. If other humans out there want to continue with certain obsessions and grudges, feel free to do so. Or better still, leave grievances in the comment sections of the future videos too, to address future problems, okay? But I've still got videos to cover, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. And of course, there may be more problems down the line. Some could be more severe than others. Some could be fatal. But we'll see what happens. Time will tell, okay? So, thanks for watching. I may see you next time. And yeah, goodbye, good night for now.